If you would, here we go. And welcome to the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. You are in the right place. You are at the Wednesday night Oasis midweek service. And I am Reverend Sunshine Michelle Coleman, your senior minister, who is on tap as host tonight. Can you get with that? Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so glad that you are here and that you will experience this experience. Yes, I said experience twice, together with us tonight. It's so exciting. And we do this service in a satsang style that expresses our science of mind principles and practices with the intention that these gatherings be informal and intimate and interactive. We build on Sunday's theme in today's Wednesday service as we delve down deeper into the topic. Our annual theme for 2024 is a grand rising, which was the focus of our meditation that Paul Presutti did before this service. And our monthly theme for April is giant gentleness. My eye turns to gentle giant, but it's called giant gentleness. Last Sunday, I was on pulpit and I introduced ideas inspired by the talk title, The Other in Love. And tonight, our speaker will continue with the same exploration of this topic. As we gather tonight, I really want to welcome you with us. And on Sunday, Spirit had dropped down, 4 new C's. When Paul Presutti is hosting, he reminds us of 6 C's that I first talked about when I first joined as senior minister a year and a half ago. Can you believe it's been that long? Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, on Sunday, integrated in my talk, I focused on 4 C's, which is care, compassion, caution, and courage. And what I was saying that for was in order for us to, the way I hear it, listen in and support each other into wholeness and healing and transformation through care, compassion, caution, and courage. And these 4 C's go along with the other 6 C's that Paul always talks about. So we have a bunch of C's: compassion, communication, camaraderie, communion, collaboration, consciousness, care, caution, and courage that we can all embrace together. So as we move into our program tonight, all these C's, however many it is, are the premise of sharing a wonderful evening tonight. We certainly want to welcome anyone who's newly with us tonight, and we welcome you to our community. We invite you to check us out at our website, oaklandcsl.org, oaklandcsl.org. If you click on the I'm New icon, and you can look in the lower left-hand corner of that page, you can submit your email address, and then you'll be added to the list to receive the weekly e-newsletter called The Village News. And in there, you'll find out lots of information that is happening in our spiritual community. Just a couple of housekeeping notes before we get into the talk. And we'd like for you to mute your own audio, your own sound, your own microphone during tonight's service. And what that does is that helps our sound quality. You can leave your video cameras on if you'd like. Please stay tuned to the end of the service, and then I will share with you some important announcements. Now it is time to introduce our beloved. He is so beloved. Our speaker tonight is Mr. Paul Presutti, and he does so much around our center. He heads up the facilities team, and he is an all-around guy. He's everywhere all at once. He's very knowledgeable, and when I started inviting him to, he's not only a co-host with Reverend Sally Bartholomew of this Oasis service, but he's also a fantastic speaker. He's a great teacher of the science of mind principles. And so you're in for a treat tonight. We welcome you, Paul. As we do with anything that happens at our center, we start and end with prayer. And tonight, I understand that Paul has invited someone to do the prayer on his behalf. Paul, would you like to introduce the person that's going to do the prayer, please?
I have asked to begin our evening in prayer tonight with one of my favorite gentle giants here at the Oakland Center, my personal mentor and a very beloved person in my life, and that's practitioner Christopher Brown. Christopher, would you do the honors?
Certainly, Paul. Thank you. Oh, well, welcome everyone to this wonderful evening. And let's take a breath together. And simply arriving at exactly where we are. And with the next breath, we breathe into the heart that knows gratitude for this moment, for this aliveness, for this coming together. And so we bless this evening. We bless Paul Presutti as he brings forth a wonderful teaching for us. We bless all the participants here that are going to co-create this evening with Paul. We bless Reverend Sunshine for hosting and for all of the AV team that bring this fantastic coming together possible. For this, we are so grateful as we look forward to a fabulous evening. And with this, we bless it, we let it be, and we say, and so it is. Amen.
Oh, it is. Thank you so much, Christopher. And Paul, I turn the floor over to you.
Thank you so much, Reverend Sunshine, especially for the invitation and the opportunity to share my thoughts at this Wednesday night Oasis service. As you mentioned earlier, we all know that the theme for the year is Grand Rising, and April is Giant Gentleness. And on Sunday and tonight, our theme is The Other in Love. But I'd like to turn your attention to something that you may not know about. In our Oakland Center, this is for Deborah Jackson, who designed this with Reverend Sally Bartholomew. Two giants in my life, two gentle giants, is our Oakland Center calendar available in the bookstore. And every week there's an affirmation that starts the week. This week it is, all of my relationships are love in form. And this affirmation really resonated with me to take a moment and inquire within and ask, what are all of my relationships? Again, it starts out with, all of my relationships are love in form. What is it referring to? I came to this realization when I went within, and this was the response, that there are three relationship levels or dimensions in my life. My relationships are relationship with self, relationship with spirit, and relationship with others. Self, spirit, and others. So to start our gathering tonight in the true Paul Presutti style that you have all become accustomed to, I have three quotes to share with you that represent each of these relationship levels or dimensions. This style is my version of what Reverend Sunshine on Sunday calls call and response, but I do it a little bit differently. And we've done this on the last couple of occasions that I've spoke. So we're going to break some rules because that's the way Paul Presutti rolls. So please turn on your microphone. And when I ask you, guess what? I'm going to ask you to respond with a resounding statement of what? And I'll ask you that 2 times before I reveal and speak the quote. Okay? Are you all game? Are you all with me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You know how we do this. So Peter, please, our beloved Peter in Portland, a gentle giant himself, would you please show us the first slide? Guess what?
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 Guess what?
What?
An exciting and inspiring future awaits you beyond the noise in your mind, beyond the guilt, doubt, fear, shame, insecurity, and heaviness of the past that you carry around. This is a quote from Debbie Ford, a self-help author, coach, lecturer, and teacher. And I found it was good for relationship with self. Guess what?
What?
Guess what?
What?
Regarding relationship with spirit, Ernest Holmes, Science of Mind, page 247, with an excellent entry into this subject on page 246, recommended reading. He says every step of the way, God goes with us. Now, God can be good, life force, divine, sacred unity, whatever you call God, all of those names, that goes with us every step of the way. Guess what?
What?
Guess what?
What?
In regards to relationship with others, this is what Zig Ziglar says. Remember him?
Yep.
Oh, if you do, you're as old as me. Never blame anyone in your life. Good people give you happiness. Bad people give you experience. Worse people give you a lesson. And best people give you memories. A motivational speaker and a self-help author. So I'm going to focus tonight, and thank you for responding. You put your microphones back on, about the gentle giants who hold others in love. And I've selected 3 gentle giants who shared their method or style of giant gentleness in dealing with their relationships with others. Peter, can you show the first slide, the next slide, please? And I'm going to ask you to leave it on while I talk about this person, Peter, so people can keep looking at it. This is from a woman named Alta. This is a poem she wrote. Bless everyone, even your enemies. Bless your adversaries. Pray for those who despitefully use you. People are overwhelmed. Help the light come through. Be kind to everyone. If someone spits on you, make prayer hands and bless them. Don't be shy about sharing this. Always share your love and blessings. Think of yourself as a resource. Bless the children, all the children, even the bullies. They are tormented inside. People put out what's in their hearts. Cleanse your heart. As I said earlier, this poem, or what I call a method, was written by a gentle giant woman simply named Alta. Now, I think all of you know who Tom Rose is. He's a friend of ours here at the Oakland Center. He participates with us, but I also participate with him every morning in a meditation held at a church he also attends in Arizona. And when it was his time to host the meditation, he referenced this poem. And I said, "Oh, Tom, please tell me about who wrote that. I want to know more." So he wrote this to me in an email. Alta was a Berkeley poet, artist, and writer. She passed on March 9th of this year. Her well-known books were I Am Not a Practicing Angel, and that book won the National Book Award for Poetry. And she also wrote a book called Shameless Hussy. She also published her own works and the works of others. She specifically states that the booklet that this poem is from, Love is Why We're Here, is not copyrighted and that anyone is free to use it. Alta and I were close friends, Tom said, and occasional lovers, going back to the 1980s. But she was so much more than this brief bio that Tom gave to me. He also gave me a link to an article about her, and I explored more about her, and the more I read, the more energized I was that I wanted to know who and what she was, because she was a gentle giant. She was a force of nature in this world, and she lived as a neighbor to us, and I didn't even know who she was. Her full name was Alta Gerry, last name spelled Gerrey, but preferred to be known simply as just Alta. She was a feminist poet, and she founded the Shameless Hussy Press in Oakland, California in 1969, which was the first feminist press in the United States. Earlier in her life, she taught school in Virginia in the early 60s, where civil rights movement protests over segregation had led to the closure of the public schools. White people had set up private schools for their children, and Alta was part of the civil rights movement project in Virginia to set up schools for Black students. In a 1976 interview with Jennifer Stone, Alta said about this experience of working that most important and valuable service. Obviously, they didn't need some white chick from California. I found out my job was to fight racism in my own community among whites. Alta later moved to Oakland, where she organized a commune that provided refuge for women escaping abusive marriages. It was there that she began her Shameless Hussy Press. Like most feminist and leftist presses of the 1960s and 70s, Shameless Hussy Press was a shoestring operation while Alta, a single mother struggling on welfare for years, she began her press by publishing a small anthology of women's writing entitled Remember Our Fire, which she printed on a small offset press at her house. She continued to print her books herself for many years. Remember Our Fire was inspired by the first women's poetry readings in the Bay Area. They met in kitchens. They met in living rooms, in small groups. Women were banding together, speaking their truth through poetry. In her narrative, she says, I read everything I could get my hands on by women writers, and I could only find 10 poems about being a woman, so I used them all. Within a few years, all of this was to change as the burgeoning second wave of the feminism sparked by both a vibrant poetry scene and the founding of several other feminist presses. Diana Press in Baltimore, Maryland, Daughters Incorporated in Plainfield, Vermont, excuse me, and the Women's Press Collective in Oakland played key roles in the development of early women's liberation. One of the most important historical contributions of Shameless Hussy Press was the first publication of books by 4 women who later became prominent feminist writers: Pat Parker, Mitsui Yamada, I'm going to mess it up, so I'm just going to spell it, Ntozake, Shang, and Susan Griffin. Shameless Hussy Press was also the first to publish Miss Shang's poem For Colored Girls Who Have Considered suicide when the rainbow is enough, which was later adapted into an Obie Award-winning Broadway theater production. The New Yorker praised For Colored Girls for encompassing every feeling and experience a woman has ever had. In a wonderful transcription from a taped interview with Alta, she recounted a time when she was threatened by others and how she handled it. This is what she said. People threatened to destroy my press. I had to move to the suburbs and get a post office box and an unlisted phone number, because the kind of people who were making the threats were terrified of the suburbs. By the way, the suburb city was San Lorenzo at the time. They're scared to go out there, she said. My neighbors were rednecks with guns. I told my redneck neighbors with guns, this is what I'm up against. People have been making threats against my publishing company and against my press. And my neighbors with guns would just stick their fingers in their belt loops and say, Alta, let us know if they show up. Now, how wonderful of her honesty to share her with her redneck neighbors, others not like herself, about her situation. And how wonderful that these suburban others protected her and her press from the others threatening her from the city. Now, I live and am talking to you right now from Castro Valley, just 5 miles more east into the suburbs from San Lorenzo. And this happened in basically my backyard. I'm going to take a minute and put in the chat right now a link. Bear with me, see if I can do this quickly, easily, gracefully, and efficiently. And it's there for all of you to see. This is the article I referenced, and it's and within this article about Alta is a link that says click here now to that fascinating transcript of her recorded interview. I encourage you to get to know more about this fabulous and mighty gentle giant who gave so much voice to so many people for so many needed causes. Bless you, dear Alta. Peter, please show the next slide. This is from Reverend John Wesley. Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as ever you can. Reverend John Wesley is another gentle giant I have discovered. For me, these words remind me and inspires me to do all that I can to bless and serve the others I encounter in my daily life. I reflect on these words daily during my grand rising meditation period I practice every morning. Reverend John Wesley lived from 1703 to 1791, and he was an English cleric, theologian, and evangelist who was a leader of a revival movement within the Church of England, known as Methodism. The societies he founded became the dominant form of the independent Methodist movement that continues to this day. This is how he had an encounter and what he did with others. It was on a voyage to the colonies that Wesley first came into contact with Moravian settlers. Wesley was influenced by their deep faith and spirituality rooted in pietism. At one point in the voyage, a storm came up and broke the mast off the ship. Can you imagine being out in the middle of the ocean on your way to the colonies from England and the mast gets blown off your ship? Well, The English panicked. Of course they would. But the Moravians calmly sang hymns and prayed. This experience led Wesley to believe that the Moravians possessed an inner strength which he lacked. The deeply personal religion that the Moravian pietists practiced heavily influenced Wesley and is reflected in his theology of Methodism. In his early ministry years, Wesley was barred from preaching in many parish churches, and the Methodists, as they had become, were persecuted. He later became widely respected, and by the end of his life, was described as the best loved man in England. He embraced those others and incorporated and recognized in a moment that their strength was his weakness, and he incorporated that to gain strength, and he was described as the best loved man in England. Truly, he is a gentle and beloved giant. Peter, the next slide, please. Reverend Sunshine is a gentle giant in my life, and I'm going to share something. One simple 2 lines that she said a couple of Sundays ago. It's about responsibility, Paul. Now, of course, she didn't say that from the pulpit, but the minute she said that, I grabbed for a piece of paper and pen. It's about responsibility, not from blame, but from love. Do not deny me to see and experience your brilliance. She also, as she said at the beginning of the program last Sunday, introduced these 4 C's: care, compassion, caution, and courage. Reverend Sunshine had made this statement on a Sunday earlier in the month. This phrase really resonated with me. The idea that I have an ability, it just struck me that I have an ability to respond, responsibility, an ability to respond to someone or something without blame. But love was new and inspiring to me. It made me stop and think in that very moment how often I automatically and unconsciously, even subconsciously, respond to someone or something out loud or inside to myself with blame instead of love. She explained, as she often does from the pulpit, telling on herself, that she was in a meeting and was compelled to tell someone that was in that meeting she didn't want to be denied of their brilliance when they appeared not to be fully expressing that brilliance in the moment. I'm sure she'll talk more about it during our discussion period. She encouraged us last Sunday to go a step further with this and consider to use our giant gentleness to be gentle giants. What if we realize the other as ourselves? We see an other as another part of ourselves. She coined as a play on words. The method, or the way she asked us to use our giant gentleness to be gentle giants, was with these new 4 C's: care, compassion, caution, and courage. The way I derived it from her was that the care was to listen with gentleness. Compassion was to respond with kindness. Caution was to proceed slowly and thoughtfully, even mindfully, and courage. Courage to broach the subject with love and from love. Courage is an interesting word because most of us think of it as bravery.
I'll put it up there.
Or strength. But in 1300, courage in French is where the word comes from. And it means heart as the seat of emotions, hence spirit, temperament, state or frame of mind. Old French courage, heart, innermost feelings, temper. Perfect word to use. And she encouraged us to use these 4 C's when we need to come to someone to address an issue to clear the air. These 4 C's allow and guide us to use our giant gentleness to be a gentle giant, so we can have the difficult discussions in order to be more aware of an other's feelings, and we can then heal a perceived situation. Thank you, Reverend Sunshine, for being a crusader and a gentle giant for our community. Right after that Sunday service, practitioner Susan Brecker, another gentle giant in my life, and I had a brief but profound discussion about the other. And that was conditioned from what we had just heard from Reverend Sunshine. She said, we as individuals, Susan said, we as individuals other ourselves by comparing ourselves to others, listening to our inner or external critics with an other opinion that is not our truth. She said, let's not other ourselves. You'll hear me using that phrase regularly when you're in close company with me. So in closing, Dr. Dan said this in his message today titled, Wake Up and Live. In the closing line of his message, he says, what an individual, similar to we as individuals and Susan Brecker just said, what an individual needs is religion and an awakening of their total personal can I try that again? What an individual needs is religion and awakening of their total personal relationship with themselves, with others, and with God. I would like to modernize the term of religion as community. What we need as individuals is community and awakening of our total personal relationship with ourselves, with others, and with God. Interesting. That's how I started this talk. And I did it before. I did Dr. Dan today. Talk about divine synchronicity. And Dr. Holmes says in his prayer at the end of his book, Living the Science of Mind, I know there is a power for good that enables me to help others and to bless the whole world. This entire prayer is what I review every day when I practice my daily grand rising contemplative exercise. And I bless the whole world, just as Alta asked us to do, just as John Wesley has asked us to do, and just as Reverend Sunshine has asked us to do. So my inquiry for you, for our conversation period is, what gentle giants have influenced you in your life? And I'll put it in the chat in just a moment. What gentle giants have influenced you in your life to increase your awareness of the relationship you have with yourself, with spirit, or others? And am I, are we willing to bless others unconditionally to improve our relationship with them and ourselves? And with that, Reverend Sunshine, I am complete.
That's a beautiful talk. Thank you for the gentle giants and the giant gentleness. And let's give some snaps and claps and emojis and hearts and stuff to our own Paul Presutti.
Thank
Yay,
you.
Paul. Thank you so much. And thank you for putting that in the chat. You know me, I'm a chat person, and I was trying to keep up with you, but you said it too quickly. So the prompt is, dear people, because now we get to engage, and I'm counting on you to do so. What gentle giants have influenced you in your life to increase your awareness of the relationship you have with yourself, with spirit, or with others? So this is a two-part question. The second part, are you, am I, are we willing to bless others unconditionally to improve our relationship with those three and ourselves? It's a mouthful, but break it down and don't get tongue-tied on it. Just what's on your heart when you read that? I ask you to raise your hand, which is at the bottom of your screen under the reaction button, and we'll call on you. Let's get some conversation going. Susanna is saying George Leonard. What about George Leonard? See, now I'm gonna engage you whether you want to or not. Are you willing to take yourself off mute and tell us a little more, Susanna? You're muted. Let me see if I can help
There
you.
we go. I did it.
Hi there. I'm not sure what the question was.
George Leonard is somebody who made a big influence on your life.
Well, he did. I mean, he just certainly the second half of his life, at least, was spent trying to bring people together and to work for, peace and harmony and honesty. And he was actually a partner of Michael Murphy, who he also founded the Esalen Institute with, which was meant for the same purposes, really. Down in Big Sur, I don't know whether you can get to it anymore, but I got to it once. But in any case, I just thought that George is a terrific writer. So is Michael. Michael's a great thinker too. That they were on the right track. They weren't looking for anybody to come down and point the finger at them and say, "I want you to join me in this." Oh, I don't know what military exercise or something, but they based their program for getting together on the practice of Aikido, which is an old martial art, so old that it was really basically only an attempt to use a person's energy who would otherwise be your enemy, not against him so much as to coordinate with yours. In other words, he was sort of out of the realm of commandments, but rather into the world of dance and beauty. Anyway, I found it very helpful. I was raised in the Catholic Church, which I found something less than fulfilling for me, way less, because it had such an emphasis in those days on guilt, rules, and judgment about other people, as well as yourself, of course. And I just found it kind of, in my case at least, life-saving to be able to spend some time with George and Michael, who really had too much intellectual honesty and willingness to work hard to give the world what they did.
Well, thank you so much for that and for speaking up about George Leonard. And tell me your name, sir.
My name's Dave.
Dave.
Yeah.
Okay, Dave. Thanks and welcome. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for that.
Thank you very much. Sorry
Yeah.
to take so long.
No, that's okay. No problem.
Sunshine, he's my husband. I'm Susanna.
Okay, yeah, I figured y'all were together. I just wanted to know his name.
Okay,
Thank you, Susanna and Dave.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Engage Paul now. He asked a deep question. There we go, Joanne.
Hi there. So a gentle giant for me Oh my gosh, I'm getting emotional. But when I was 14, and I was going to this church, oh, my hand is still up. Let me get that down. It was an awesome youth group. And we had a guest minister from a church, another church in Oakland, Larry Bowling. He was amazing. And at 14, we had an Easter conference up in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and he was our speaker. And when he spoke, I just felt it so much in my heart and my soul and my mind. And I really got him. And when he spoke, because I just was getting it so much, it was like the heavens opened up. And I got God. I got Christ. I mean, I knew whatever word you want to use, I got it. And it was like that thing where you get it, you've got it the rest of your life, you know. So at 14, I just felt so blessed to have this gentle giant, Larry Bowling, in my life. Changed my life completely. And then the other question, are you willing to bless others unconditionally? Heck yeah.
Yay.
I'm complete.
Yay. I'm glad to hear that, Joan, and always lovely to see you, dear. Thank you so much for being here.
Love you.
Love
I
you.
was going to ask you to say a little bit more about what touched you, but you went there and I could feel it. So thank you so much, Joan, for expressing from your heart. Who else? We have more time. Please engage with this question about who influenced you, what gentle giant influenced you in your relationship with yourself, spirit, or others, and how can you give that back and bless others? Well, let me just add while someone's thinking of their answer. Y'all have heard me talk about my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, Miss Lena Mae Dixon, who I affectionately apparently named when I was little, and then it took, and everybody started calling her Grammy-O. And she probably influenced me more after her transition than even when she was here, because I talk about her all the time. And I carry her handkerchief with me. Handkerchiefs, she has more than one, and I give them away. I had a whole bag of them, and people tell me to this day, I have one of Grammy-O's handkerchiefs that you gave me when I was going through this thing. And it means so much to me. So it's being passed on. Alice has her hand up. Alice K.
So one of my favorite gentle giants is Kev Choice. Because he plays those keys with so much love and so much creativity. He inspires a whole congregation. He gets us up, he gets us dancing, he gets us in our bodies. And he is just a beautiful man. I just adore him. And he doesn't make a big loud noise about it, although he makes a lot of sound, right? And I just appreciate him so much. He just so inspires me. And so that's who came to mind. I'm complete.
I hope you tell him that if you
That's a
haven't
great
already.
idea. I often go up and I often engage with the musicians because I'm on the AV team, and I often thank them because our music at the center is just so inspirational. We're so lucky to have them to play for us and to move us and to help spirit move through our beings. So
That's so
thank you.
great.
I will tell him. And yes, and what was the second part of the question was?
Are you willing to bless others unconditionally to improve your relationship with them or yourself?
Absolutely. Even when I don't want to. I'm still committed to doing it. Thank you. I'm complete.
Beautiful. Thank you, Alice. Peter, I think I saw your hand.
Yeah. I have to say that big influence in my life was my dad, Sandy Gum. He was a gentle giant. He was a teacher and a college professor, and my dad. And I loved him. And he was a great model for me because he took the time to listen to people and see their point of view. He taught me empathy, and he taught me to listen to what people have to say and to not be immediately reactive of something that they may be saying that I react to. So I really have honored him and tried to live that way, the same way in my life as much as I can. And so I guess to answer the second question, I do that through my experience of learning from him to listen to people. And when something comes up around someone that I react to, I just take a breath and stop and just say, wait a minute, what is this person saying? How can I listen to them with love? The way you were talking earlier today. So that's really my hero. Thank you.
Oh, that's so sweet. Isn't that Paul? You can just feel it. Can't you feel
Yes, and I think it's so important that we bring that to their attention. Whether they're here with us or not, they know. But when you put out that gratitude of their presence in your life, they know.
Yeah.
And then if they're still present in the world, take a moment and just say thank you. Thank you for what you've done for me. And that in its own way is a blessing unto itself.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. I'm surrounded at Oakland Center with gentle giants everywhere. Everybody that I look, I am going to just take a minute and recognize Christopher Brown and, oh, Trisha. Good Lord, is she a giant and gentle and wonderful with me. Grady is just magnificent, as you know. Dorothy Mendez, who you'll hear why she's my gentle giant at the end of the service today. And Joan, you've been around. We're going to have some problems tonight because they're all Sabrina, because of what I'm about to say. The Alices are great. Deborah is the giant of giants. But we may have a little tussle tonight, Reverend Sunshine. So I'm trying to be open and supportive and blessing them because we have multiple people from long distance. Of course, Peter's in Portland. We know Rev Deb is in Savannah, Georgia. But Reverend Sally's making a brief appearance over in the corner, and goodness knows that's always a game. Where is Reverend Sally? And Sabrina Bolas, who I absolutely think is a gentle giant because of not only what she does, but how far I've seen her progress, how she's become a member of our community, and how she's supporting her dad. She's in New York City right now.
Mm.
So I'm sending blessings to all those that come from long distances. Freya, our home girl, all the other folks on the phone. Thank you so much for being gentle giants in my life. You've really made me a better human being. So I'm taking this opportunity to thank you now. And I hope you in turn will thank your gentle giants. And I don't know who's going to win the long distance award, but Sabrina kind of has an edge. I don't know. It's somewhere between Sabrina and Deb. So I don't know. Hopefully they'll speak up and claim their pride.
Well, we don't have to just have one winner because we're all winners. You know what I mean? So we can have one.
We could break it up. I'd love to hear from someone else on our inquiry today. Who's important in your life and why?
And we're ticking down here closely.
Yeah, we got about a minute.
You see, Paul is he's so used to being a host, he just took over. He forgot I was host tonight, right? And he eased his question in about the long distance award, which is good. But so I'm gonna let you know what my question was after the meditation, because in honor of Earth Day and Mother Gaia, who is a gentle giant that we love so much. I asked, what is your favorite thing in nature? Just name one or two things. And here's the list we came up with. Sunflowers, redwood trees, bonsai maples, cats, kittens, Mount Tam, poppies, the ocean, and any body of water, all flowers, all trees, knock-knock butterflies, cherry blossoms, what wildflowers, dogwoods, the wind, hearing the wind, greenery, and Lake Chabot, and all trees in the forest. How's that for Gentle Giant?
Amen.
Yay.
Yay.
Well, we're at time. And thank you so much, Mr. Paul Presutti, for the questions that you asked, the 2, 3, 4, 5-part questions. Yay, we can give him some more claps on that. And we have a few announcements, so just stay tuned while I go through them. If you will. Deborah Jackson, was that your hand?
It was meant to send him love.
Oh, I see. I hope you got that love.
Yeah.
And we're going to run through these announcements right quick as Peter has brought up the slides. Please join us at our service on Sunday. This Sunday, April 21st, we'll be celebrating Earth Day with my dear friend Aria Shell, who is an incredible climate justice advocate. She'll be speaking on taking it to the street. Meditation starts at 10 a.m., followed by the service at 10:30. And next Wednesday, same time, same channel, on Wednesday, April 24th, right here at Midweek Oasis, please join our own Gabriella Condi for a deeper conversation on the topic of taking it to the streets. And she's such an environmental advocate herself. That's why I asked her to give this talk. Meditation is at 6:30 and our service starts at 7. And you can find the Zoom link by going to our website at oaklandcsl.org and then click on services. And please join us as we continue on our daily community practice, our spiritual practice, using the Abundance book by John Randolph Price, our 40-day prosperity plan. We're like we're plus 100 days in because we started on January 1st and we keep rolling it as third round. And today we're on the 28th day of the third round of the program, and we're on affirmation number 8. So please get the book if you don't have it and follow along with the affirmations in the order that they appear. We're honoring Passover, April 22nd through April 30th. And each April, the past and the present mingle together during Passover, one of the most significant holidays on the Jewish calendar. Passover is a celebration that commemorates the Jewish people's escape from slavery in ancient Egypt. As I've mentioned several times now, April, we're celebrating our Mother Gaia, Earth. It's Earth Month. Earth Day is this coming Monday on April 22nd. And we've done this for the past 50 years. And so many people around the world celebrate Earth Day. You can learn more about Centers for Spiritual Living, Sacred Activism for Earth Day by visiting either oaklandcsl.org and click on our events page, or you can check out Centers for Spiritual Living, which is our parent organization. You can check out their website at csl.org. There's a prayer-a-thon that's on Monday, 3 hours worth of prayer. There's communications. There's so many things about Earth Day that we're doing. And please don't miss our upcoming concert on May 5th with Thrive East Bay and the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. We're in partnership. The name of it, Hold Everyone Up. It's the power of community and song and healing. It's on Sunday, May 5th at 4 p.m. In our sanctuary, we're featuring the awesome 3-time Grammy nominee Melanie DeMore and the Wild Choir. You really won't want to miss it. Tickets can be purchased again on our website at oaklandcsl.org on the events page. And we will have assistance for those of you who need help buying tickets online, which is the way they're being sold after service this coming Sunday. Please spread the word and tell your friends. Bring a friend, buy them a ticket. And we have a beautiful conference that's coming up, and it happens every other year. It's kicked off 2 years ago. The People of African Descent New Thought Group is hosting yet again, Celebrating Our Soul 2024. It's called Consciously Creating Change. This conference happens August 1st through the 4th at Unity Village in Kansas City, Missouri. And it's an opportunity to come together to learn and share spiritual practices together. It's curated by people of African descent and lots of speakers and it's open to everyone to come. So it's just really a very wonderful and unique spiritual experience. You can visit their website with the initials PADNTG, which stands for People of African New Thought Group. Our Spirit Treasure Bookstore is celebrating National Poetry Month and Earth Awareness Month with a 30% off table. And there's so many beautiful things that our bookstore manager, Linda Wyman, puts in our bookstore. So please check us out there at Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. And you can contact Linda Wyman at oaklandcsl.org with any questions. We want to acknowledge the many people at our center who make these things happen. And this is just only a snippet. We have so many people, as Paul was talking about, these gentle giants who make the center run. But just a few folks here in these leadership roles, administrative roles. Steve Carter is our operations administrator. Dorothy Mendez, who's on the call today, heads up our ministry of prayer. Maureen French is transitioning as our board president. She's shifting role. Susan Brecker is facilities use. Dow Becker is our bookkeeper, and Sanford Livingston, also transitioning off of the board, has been involved with our facilities. So here's our people, and there's their contact information if you'd like to reach out to them. So to find out more information about CSL, Centers for Spiritual Living, you can visit their website, as I mentioned, csl.org, to see what's happening in our global organization. We're global, not only national, but we're global. And also, please visit us at oaklandcsl.org. Sign up for that weekly newsletter that we talked about, the Village News. You can click on I'm New, get on the list so you can hear what's happening in our center. And remember, follow us on Instagram, on YouTube, and on Facebook. Like us on any of these social media, and please subscribe today. Last but not least, we always want to acknowledge abundance and the opportunity to give, and to give joyously. We have an affirmation that we always say when we're giving of our resources that have first been given to us, and we're giving back. So I invite you to say this affirmation, hold your heart, and whatever you're giving to the center, which we'll show you how to do. Some of you are already auto giving or what have you, but let's bless the gift. Just think about the gift and all your blessings, and we invite you to give to the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. Let's say together, joyously I give, with an attitude of abundance, knowing that as I give, I do receive. So beautifully. The ways to give, if you go to oaklandcsl.org and click the donut button, it will take you to this page that shows you how to give, either by card, by Zelle. You can mail in your offering, text to give, or come on Sunday, and then you can put it in the basket. And last but certainly not least, we just want to give thanks and gratitude for everyone that makes this service happen. Our beautiful team. We want to first thank Paul Presutti for the beautiful message. And our AV team today, we have Peter Gum up in Oregon, who was doing the slides. We have Alice Herndon and Alice Kay, who were spotlighting and muting. And we have many other people who participate in one way, shape, or form. Trisha Gregor is here tonight, and she's usually on Sunday service on the AV team, and so many others. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so now we're going to close with prayer, as we always do. And Paul, do you want to announce who you've invited to do the closing prayer?
The gentlest of giants. She has held the candle of faith for us through the ministry of prayer and has taught me how to pray and has invited me to pray with her. And I am so grateful that she's in my life and I adore her. Emeritus practitioner Dorothy Mendez. Thank you, Dorothy, for saying yes.
Absolutely, sweetheart. Let us all just take one collective deep breath together and just release as we recognize and know that the power and the presence of God is right where we are right now. Giving thanks for this magnificent sermon that our brother Paul has given us, this wonderful information, this gentle of the gentle giants that we can go back and review and look and see who they truly are. Giving thanks for the AV team, giving thanks for Reverend Sunshine as the host today, knowing that each and every one of us on this call, that we are gentle giants, that we go forth grounded in the love, in the light of God, going forth spreading our love, our compassion, our courage, and just knowing that God is truly our source and our sufficiency in all things. And as we go forth this week, we go with open minds and loving hearts, bringing into our space more love, more joy, more peace, more happiness. And we spread this joy, this love, this happiness throughout all the people that we contact this week. Strangers, just say thank you or just say hello, which may make their day. Let's just know that we are blessed to be right where we are, to experience this evening with our beloved Paul Presutti, who gives to this community with his heart, with love, and never says no. Bless him. Give thanks for what he has brought to us this evening. And as we go forth to our special places, we know that God goes before us, making any appearance of a crooked road straight. And we say, thank you, Mother, Father, God, for this and for the more. And as I, Dorothy, release this word into the law, knowing it is done. And if you agree with me, please join me in saying, and so it is.
And so it is.
Amen.
Thank you so much.
Hallelujah.